Okay. Okay, this is the staff meeting from the 5th of July, and we have present Bashi, Berg, Chris, Dale, JJ, Mark, Rose, and Star. And everybody should say a word to identify the voices. And this is Bashi saying something. Berg?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Burke.
This is Chris or Cole.
This is D.
This is JJ.
Mark.
Rose.
And Star is maybe just now gone somewhere. Okay, so we had first point, finance. How far with the discussion on funding, actually? And anyone from the finance team there? Oh, silence.
I don't see any of them here, actually.
Yeah, so what we will do is we will postpone that one. And the next point is the web design update.
Well, where we're at with that is I am currently looking into WordPress and playing with the content management system portion of that to determine whether that is going to be visually appealing enough, as well as possibly making some pages in PHP that is a bit more dynamic visually. So basically my plan is still the same as it has been. We'll probably create a little bit of each so that we can then present it to staff to determine which is the most favored, so that we can then continue on and start making more permanent pages according to the wishes of staff. And it is time consuming. Me and Mark are not fluent in programming language, although we are tech savvy. It takes time and experimentation and a lot of trial and error, all while we are dealing with other issues that come up. So I apologize for the lack of immediate success.
Yeah, no problem. You see, because what we have a problem, the problem is that, of course, you're doing a lot of work and you see everything in front of your eyes and you test this one and test that one and that doesn't work and so on. But for the other people outside the working group, it's a little bit difficult to see that something is happening. So any idea how we can improve that one?
Well, I'm going to chime in here. First of all, if you've seen what we were doing, it would look like Chinese to most of you anyway, no offense. But once we get the examples done, once, you know, we'll be displaying our works in progress, if you will, I suppose. Well, I will. Bert might be he might have a different style where he likes to show his Picassos off when they're done. But I'm happy with just like a small example or whatever. So we'll be coming out with stuff like you seen that theme I did.
We're just kind of developing a portfolio, if you will, that you guys will be able to peruse and determine what you guys like.
Yeah, actually, I have to say that there's some results actually. Right now in the Purple Room we have several different themes how you can have the display of your threads and your forum more or less in the Purple Room, and I'm on Flexile right now and I like it very much. You know, it's much better than before. Anything more regarding?
I have a desk on the Purple Room, and there's also a thread, the suggestion box, that I'm kind of interacting with on the site. So if you guys ever have any questions or any tech queries or whatnot, you can simply put it on my desk as well. Just create your own thread in my little desk on the Purple Room, or you can ask in the suggestion box and you will get nearly an immediate response from me.
Alright, and there's another thing I wanted to bring up here, because I think it was Billy that had mentioned something like this, but if you guys want to see like updates on what we're doing, you know that little weird looking orange button? If you click on that, it'll save the thread as like a bookmark kind of, and you'll get all the updates for it in an RSS feed window on your browser. It's not complicated. You just click the thing and hit save, and it'll be there. It'll put a button on there. You click on it, and you can see all the updates and changes if you want to follow things that way.
One other point on the tech-oriented web design part. Bashi, you've been talking about the welcome package and stuff like this. I think it would be advisable or more streamlined if you had either me or Mark involved in that, because we are tech-oriented, and there may be some ideas that we could throw at you as far as how certain things could take place as far as function goes, web function. We could be very advantageous to you. And I offer my services. If Mark doesn't want to do it, or Mark can jump in too, I would be glad to help you come up and bring in the brainstorming process of how to make what you want the welcome package to do, to help give you tech feedback on your ideas, as well as giving you some maybe more ideas as far as the tech side of all this. So I think it would be streamline the process of coming up with, let's say, a welcome package or anything web related.
Yeah, actually, in the last days, there was less communication between us, and it's also from my side. So we have actually a group, a discussion group on the forum, and I think Berg, you're a member also there, and I think we should explore this option more, and of course having also Skype discussions and so on. Yeah, I know. It's partly on my side the fault, that it's not, how to say, I was not networking too much in the last days, so that's more.
Well, I think it was kind of a timing issue. I did approach you, but that was when the minefield remark came in, and very, very rightly so. So I'm basically just re-extending that, to you, saying, hey, I want to work with you, and maybe I could help out.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you. So we will do that one together, Okay.
Sure. Okay.
So I think next point is Data Protection Act. It was postponed last time. I think Soraya is there involved in this, was it not?
Yeah, well, I don't know about... We haven't accepted money yet, so the part she was concerned about doesn't... Well, you know what I mean. We haven't, started charging membership fees or none of that yet, so... That part can wait a little while. But the other part about the cookies that came built in on a new update for the forum part, and I also installed something on the front, the WordPress part, to explain all that. So we're covered there.
Okay. So whatever is it there, maybe some things she wants to add will be tabled next time. And next point would be job boundaries. We discussed last time which team is doing what and how they are doing, what kind of, how to say, yeah, also what kind of work is on the pipeline. I mean, we have not discussed, maybe there are several works which are dormant and nobody has pointed to them because they have fallen back into the background. So I think first what we have to do is we have to identify the work which is supposed to be done, and then from there we will call out that this is the work which is on the pipeline, and who wants to do what and so on. This is, I think, we should do. Has anybody identified some works?
Actually, I'd like a moment to speak to you guys about my job here, if you don't mind. I'm supposed to be archiving stuff, and while we're archiving stuff, I'm in the middle of, well, while I was archiving stuff, I have a couple of things that are difficult that I'm going to need to speak to the tech about. But now we're supposed to be removing content, so I'm not sure whether that should be archived or not.
Well, speaking of job boundaries, the web design team pretty much has their boundaries defined. And on top of what I was saying with Bashi, we're also going to be helping in other areas perhaps even radio. I mean, kind of in all the areas, because this is all going to be integrated into the website anyway. So the web design team will have its own established area as far as boundaries go, as far as maintaining the site and building the site, and as well as being involved with the other groups. So we're going to kind of be all over the place. And I would be happy to help you with the archiving thing. I think Mark would probably be more appropriate because he's got more of a background on what should and should not be archived. But I can always offer my 2 cents.
I would like to speak to Mark alone sometime this week about it privately, just because he knows that I have problems with it that I need to figure out, and I think he can help me with it.
No problem. Hit me up.
Okay, that's all I have to say. So if anybody hasn't seen any progress made in the archives, it's because I've run into a couple of walls, but I will get back on it as soon as I have my questions answered.
Anything more on job boundaries? Okay, so next point would be the shout box. We have, before we have had the shout box open for everybody, including guests, and then we have decided to close it so that only members can post on it. And there had been several complaints in respect of that one. So the question is, do we want to reverse the decision, or we want to modify the decision, or we want to keep as it is right now?
Can I ask a question?
Go for it.
Is there any way so that you can differentiate the guests? Like if you were to let the guests in, but it's guest 1, 2, 3, 4, so you know who's saying what, and you can at least follow that pattern?
Not currently, no.
We did look at that and had the exact same idea you did when me and Mark were discussing the apparent schizophrenic view of looking at 4 guests and you can't tell which one's what. So I kind of said maybe there's some module or something where people would be assigned a number so that at least you could keep track. What that required was an update and I think some money. So there is a way of doing it, I think, but it would require money, and that would be something that, if that is a desire, then we would have to go and research that a little bit more, so we could vote on something like that. If you want us to spend some money on that, if everybody agrees with that, then sure.
May I chime in? Yeah, there will be something, but currently it doesn't exist yet. The person that made that shout box is called Dark Immortal, and they haven't made the new one yet. They're working on it. But yeah, it will be a paid add-on when they're finished, is what they said.
Thank you.
And the whole thing about guest, right? I don't think it's fair to have it one way or the other, right? If they can post in the shout box, they should be able to post on the forum too. Why is one okay but not the other?
That's something I kind of thought of too whenever Stephen made those points. And I have to admit, again, I didn't really look at it from that way. Perhaps we are trying to control and becoming more and more of a forum. And if we are going to let it just be open and transparent 100%, then yes, then guests should be able to post as well. Not that we couldn't have a members area and all that, but as far as open transparency, then...
Well, a members area would be a restriction.
Wouldn't we just get clogged with trolls?
Well,
yes. Yes, trolls would be resolved.
Oh yeah, and spammers.
I think actually the discussion of controls and restriction is a little bit hypothetical in my opinion, because there is no restriction on anybody who wants to register. So anybody who wants to do it can register and become a member. There is no screening, there is no restriction on anything. But if this person is not willingly to have even this little effort of making this little effort of registering on this forum, I don't see it as a restriction if he then cannot post there, for example. I mean, this is ridiculous in my opinion. This argument that this is a restriction.
I think Mark was just noting the disparity between allowing anonymous posting on the shout box while we don't allow it on the forum. I don't know if... I think what's on the table is You know, do we want both? Do we want one or the other, or do we want none of it?
Yeah, you see, we had one experience with the YouTube account, you know, that the comments can be done, and if you look at that one, uh, it's just nonsense, you know. So what the people are posting there, and maybe even somebody will, if there's an anonymous post option, maybe somebody will link a porno or maybe whatever, a snuff film or some criminal activity is going on, and before you know it, you know, this thing is there on the Shoutbox and it's archived, you know. And I think there should be at least a kind of safeguard in respect of that one. And I think there was Val had a good idea on that maybe the Shoutbox is not anymore archived in the public domain, but it is in members only section, and I think this is a good compromise on that one.
Yeah, but then that's restrictions and not being completely open.
Well, if you want to enter a room, you have to open the door, you know, and the door is not locked. So if you are feeling that you are being restricted if somebody is in the room and because you have to open that door, then I think you have a psychological damage somewhere.
Well,
I have seen on other forums there are models in which non-members can post. I think Godlike Productions, ATS did it for a while, in which you know, somebody could just come on and post, and their username would be Anonymous Coward or something like that. And I've seen both. I've seen trolling and all kinds of ugliness, and then I've also seen some positive and constructive stuff, you know, in which somebody would become entrenched enough into an issue that they would want to comment on it, but not to the degree of becoming a member. So there's probably a benefit either or. It you know, really just depends on what we want.
well, you see, the problem I see is, alright, say we do the anonymous thing on the Shoutbox, right, like Bashy said. They could put snuff films and pornos or something illegal in there, and then we could get in trouble for it, right? So then we'd have to monitor it, and then we'd be going against what we want to do in the first place again.
And then to not allow anonymous posting goes against the transparency thing. So there is no, it's not a win-win. We're going to have to choose.
Well, this whole thing, the issue began when a guest was impersonating a member. So, is it right to allow that?
Well, yeah, but then again, the same person that got impersonated allegedly is the one saying to let him be there.
It all depends on how much we decide we want to micromanage the forum. And then, of course, again, this is just the forum, and we don't even have the site yet. But the forum will be an integral part of the site, so it's something that will need attention eventually.
Well, my conclusion is we have to pick one or the other and go all the way with it.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm actually against opening it up again for everybody to post there. And I think a good compromise would be, I mean, post there and then get it archived. You know, the point is that if you archive it, you know, always it comes in the front and on the top of the actual threads, you know. So I think what we can do is the good compromise would be that guests can post there, but it is not archived in a thread which is can be publicly be seen. But you know, it's members only. I think that would be a good compromise.
Well, my opinion on this is, I'm fine with the Shoutbox being open. It does create drama, and yes, some people could post some unsavory things, but at the same time, I think Stephen's right. The drama is the juice. Drama creates conflict and debate leads to resolution and new ideas. So I'm fine with it. I think it's not as important right now of an issue because we don't have a site yet. So I mean, at the worst, we would have to micromanage it more. At the best, it will pull in more people and create more debate. But as it stands right now, we just have a forum. and nothing else. So I would rather spend my time building web pages than micromanaging a forum. So maybe there may come a time where we do want to open up some doors, and we have plenty of time to discuss all that. In other words, I think maybe we are putting the cart before the horse right now, and I think it needs more discussion as things flesh out more.
So we will
So my
discuss
vote-
during the week, and we will retable it next week.
We can just vote on it now if you want. Just get it out of the way. Do you reckon?
Well, I'm in favor of just keeping the archive where it is, personally. That way, my thinking when I came up with the whole idea was that way people can see who's really being dumb and who's not. It was a way of, that was my way of thinking we could counter the trolling or whatever, if you will.
But if you have just guessed who, you will not know who is who.
So we could go ahead and leave it closed for now until we can tell us who is who, and maybe pay some money for that updated, whatever Dark, what's his name, whenever he updates the shoutbox, and then we could at least keep, you know, a clear channel of communication open by being able to differentiate which guest is saying what. Like I said, cart before the horse, it's not important now. We could even leave it closed now because we're not worried about getting new people at the moment. We don't even have a site yet.
Okay, so let's go for a vote. Who is in favor? I think what we should vote for is who is in favor for getting opening the shoutbox, or who is in favor of keeping it closed until we can identify the guests with the upcoming software. I think these are the two options. So option A is opening the shoutbox again, and option B is keeping it closed until the new software is out. Okay?
Okay. Do you want to vote first, Beth?
Yeah, I'm actually going for option B, which means keeping it closed until the new software is out.
I agree with Bashi. I think it's a distraction right now with it being, you know, with it being open. It's just proved nothing but being a distraction.
I agree. Keep it closed for now.
I like it open.
I'm gonna go with option B for now.
Rose?
I'm going to abstain right now. I really don't know.
Option B.
Okay, so the vote is for option B.
Yep.
So it means it is decided that the shoutbox will be kept closed until the new software is out, and I think the web design team will notify us in time as soon as the new software is out, okay?
Sounds.
So next point, visual improvement of the voting process. That was from my suggestion from last time, you know, Mark said something about overlays, and I want to keep this thing a little bit burning in the minds of the people. So just a small question: is any progress on the overlays or any part from maybe web design team?
I have an update on that. Me and Mark have been hashing this out amongst ourselves. We are thinking that the security of Zenforo, or at least I am, thinking that the security of Zenforo and the voting mechanism that is in Zenforo is easily attacked, easily manipulated, if we're going to really rely on votes to determine what we're going to do once the site is built and this thing is going the way, you know, that has been envisioned. That I would move towards going more towards a web-based secure voting process that would be very similar to what you do at PayPal, or when you you know, when you get you know, open up and do credit card transactions on the net, where it's totally secured using something called secured socket layers, so that we would move the voting process off of the Zenforo software and onto a very secure and trackable as well as archivable function. using PHP and web functions instead of depending on forum software to do this. And again,
Well, that sounds interesting.
this would probably be among the examples in the portfolio we would show you guys so that you guys could get a better feel of this and see it working instead of having this to hear me describe this to you. So we'll probably have a couple of options to present to you on all this.
Very nice. I think I will come back on to you on that one. No.
Fair enough.
Okay. So the last point is the site name change. You know, we have moved into a new phase actually on our site, and it's like the caterpillar is going to be a small caterpillar, not a moth, but maybe a butterfly. So we will have to consider the name change actually, and I want to get the discussion somehow started on that one.
Well, first I'd like to ask you, do you mean more like a chrysalis stage? Because that's in
A
between
crystal
a worm and a
stage.
butterfly. No, a chrysalis. It's in between a worm
Yeah,
and a butterfly.
yeah, I got it. Yeah, right now we are like this, you know, we are cocooned.
I think it's clear from some of the chats we've had in Skype that while some may feel this is not as important of a decision, and while some believe it's extremely important, I think it's going to take some time and give everybody a chance to mull over this and come up with some ideas that we would all just get wowed by, and we'll eventually find it. I don't think we should rush it. At the same time, I don't think we should drag it out. So I think that we need to always kind of try and be putting our ideas in Skype and just bouncing ideas off each other until we have that aha moment and we can all kind of at least agree through vote of what a good name would be.
Can we agree on a time frame for ourselves and for our decision process? Let's say 2 weeks, or maybe 1 week.
May I clarify, are we discussing an interim name or a name that we're going to stay with?
We have an interim right now for 6 weeks. But yeah, the ultimate goal is to get one we're going to keep. But right now we have an interim name. Atticus 1 will serve for 5 more weeks. So I think we should just push for trying to come up with a great name. If we can't come up with that great name, well then we can just stick with agora1.org or something as an interim until we do come up with something that is the aha name.
Or assembly 1, or you know. But I think we should try for a good name which everybody can agree on and say I'm fine with that one. And I think 2 weeks is not too less time. I think is enough for everybody to get creative and make up his minds. You know. Her mind.
I'm kind
So
of curious.
Let me say something. Can we make a vote for the 2 weeks window that within 2 weeks we will have to agree on that one? It means not the next meeting, but that meeting after that one, we will have to have the name ready in any case. And if it is just by 1 vote more, you know, something like this, you know, then this is the name which has been chosen. So I think in this way we can streamline the process and we are not getting bogged down with this name here and that name there and so on. Can we agree on the 2 weeks, Michael?
I reckon we should. Yeah, we put a post up in the purple room. I can do that when I get to work, and we put all the names and that in there because they get lost in the Skype boxes. So we'll do that in the purple room. So it's kind of, you know, up to everybody to go in there and have a look at what's available, you know, or what's been written.
Yeah, and maybe everybody suggests 1 or 2 names, and then we have a list of close choices, and then within 1 week or 10 days we come up with a final decision what to do, so that within 2 weeks we are done on that one. So let's make a small vote. Is
you know,
everybody
you
okay?
kinda went over
Is
what I was going to, the point I was going to make, or the question I was going to ask. Was if we're going to change it permanently, then shouldn't we ask the members what they think? I mean, it would take longer, but maybe we could just, I don't know, do that later once everything's there. I'd be happy to foot the bill after that for a new one where everybody gets a say, and we can just use the one we pick for 2 weeks or whatever for now.
I'm easy with that. I think that if we do come up with a quick name just to meet a deadline, we might end up changing it later. Although I do believe in a deadline, I don't think we should keep kicking the can down the road. And we should kind of focus on a name and try to come up with one. As long as we do that, and everything is great. If we all remain quiet and we don't work this through, then we're going to have to kick the can down the road or choose a name that we might end up changing again later.
I agree that I think we should put it on the Agora and let the members toss in some names, you know, for suggestion, and then put once we get a group of names, put up a vote for the names, you know, pick out the 5 most popular or something. And
Brooke, I can't understand you. Brooke, I can't understand you. I'm sorry. You sound like you're 200 meters underwater.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm right here changing my special effects on you to lower the volume.
I was going to ask, was that God? Go into your setup on the first page and turn down your outbound amplifier a little bit. It's on the right-hand side in the page.
I'm going to have to go in a second, guys, as well. I just wanted to say, also with the name changes and stuff that that's been requested, also we'll need to think about the handover, because I think the site is still owned by Ree. I'm not sure if she's going to want to own it anymore, so she'll need to hand it over to somebody, as well as all the accounts and servers and things like that will need to be handed over. Is that right?
No, it's just that the hosting's still in Steven's name. It was supposed to get changed and all that, but then, you know, that other thing happened, so I don't know where that is now. My best guess would be to get someone out to ask Kat.
Okay. I'm just thinking because, obviously, you know, due to his request, then I think it's probably best that we just act and get it all kind of sorted for him. But yeah, I could talk to Kat, maybe.
Does this sound better?
We can't hear you, Star. Yeah, now we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got to go, guys. I'll catch you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care, man.
Okay.
Bye, Chris.
Yeah, Brooke, I can hear you great now.
Okay, good. What I had said was I just think it's a good idea to maybe put up a thread in the Agora for name suggestions. Give it maybe 1 week. Pick out the 5 best names and then put up another thread for a vote for the 5 best names. Just as a suggestion, what do you guys think?
I agree. I think choosing a name is it's an excellent way to get the members involved, and it may be the only way to get the right name to open it up for suggestions.
Well, that's what I was saying, like, but my way was like, if we just picked one for now because we're on a deadline, if nothing came of that, right? Later, when we get everything all the other stuff worked out we need worked out, we could ask them again what they really want to be called, and I would be happy to pay the $20 for the new name or whatever myself.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason for my first question, because if it's just interim and we want to think about this later, then that's fine too.
Okay, can we agree that within 2 weeks we are coming up with an interim name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so That's done, more or less, 2 weeks, and a thread on the forum. So that is regarding the name change, and maybe Mark, you can look
Well,
also into the.
well, wait a minute. Now, if
No,
it's
maybe.
interim,
Yeah, wait. Yeah.
if it's interim, I don't know that this is the time to open it up. If we're just going to have a name until the process for the real name begins. Um, I
think
don't
it's a
know
good
that we
point.
need them.
Well,
I think I mean, it would really, the result of opening up a thread and trying to find a good name would determine whether or not it would be interim or not. So, you know, the choice to open a thread up and start asking members, I think, is a good one, period. Whatever the result of that would be, as well as our brainstorming for a good name, would determine whether or not it's going to be interim, because we're giving ourselves a deadline here. So if we don't meet the deadline, we can create an interim name and until we find that perfect name.
I have something. I don't understand why you would even create an interim name at the end of 2 weeks, because what the whole idea of opening it up for the members is to generate some interest from the members to naming the site. Number one, you give it 1 week, a 1 week deadline to put some names out there. At the end of that 1 week, you put up the 5 best. And of course, in that thread, people are going to go back and forth, why it's a good name, why it's a bad name, yada, yada, yada. So at the end of that thread, at the end of the week, you can just sit there and discuss, okay, these are the 5 names that are being thrown around, and then put up another thread voting on those 5 names. And then by the end of that week, you'll have a name for the site, and it should be a final name. I don't see why it has to be an interim, because the members have chosen it.
Well, because there's so few members right now. If it's closer to when the site is actually going up, maybe we would have more members to work with to get the right name.
Okay.
I think
I
the
understand that.
interim is, yeah, the interim name is just kind of, we're going to play it by ear until we find the right name.
Well, what I was saying
But-
was, like, if listen, all right, we do that with the members, right, and us, and I was saying if we can't find one or resolve one by then, we just pick the best one we can find at the time, and later on, if there was a big enough issue to change it or whatever, or we really wanted to, I would be happy to pay for the change myself. That way, if it doesn't work out, it's like plan B is what I'm saying. If it doesn't work out, we can do another one, and I'd be happy to throw in the $20 to do it, is what I'm saying. But if it does work out, great.
And I would put $20 in to change it again. I think the goal here is to have the right name that, we don't even have the site yet. So, I mean, all these, restrictions and time limits and deadlines, it's fine to put a fire underneath this to get it done, but at the same time, I want the right name. So, and I want everybody to agree and everybody to be happy, including members. So, whatever it takes to get that done, I'd be willing to pay my own money out of my own pocket to eventually reach that point.
Okay, so we agree that within 2 weeks we are coming up with a good interim name, and then from there on we will see whether we can improve on that name. Okay?
Well, if it's necessary, yeah. So the next thing would be who makes the thread, because I really don't want to.
I think Rose should be.
I'll make the thread.
Anything regarding name change more?
I think we pretty much sorted it out all we can for now, don't you?
Well, I'm still confused but if that's the way you want to do it, okay. I was just saying if it's interim, why worry? If you're just trying to get a name off of it, just put anything there, and then when the time comes to get the actual name,
No, I don't think.
then get the members.
Here, I'll clear this up for you, Rosie. Listen, what I was saying was, right, we can put it out there to the members and have everybody do it because we're members too, right? But once everything's built and it requires it, or not everybody's happy or whatever, we'd be happy to go through it again if necessary. We may not need to, though. It depends on how it turns out, I suppose. I was just offering a solution to the what if it doesn't.
I understand what you were saying. It's just not what I was saying, but I don't care. Do whatever you want.
Okay. Well, what were you thinking?
It doesn't matter.
I would like to just come up with a name, a good name that would be pleasing to everybody. If we can't do that, obviously we would have to have some other name other than Atticus 1, so we would choose an interim. I don't prefer the interim. I would prefer finding the real name. But I'm willing to go with the flow and adjust as we go, as it evolves. But my aim is to find that perfect name, you know.
Okay, so what we have now, we will make a thread on the forum regarding name suggestions, and that thread will be for 1 week open, and after 1 week another thread will be made. It will be open for voting on the names, and after 2 weeks we will have most likely a good name, interim name, and if this interim name is the name, the perfect name, then it's even better, you know, then we don't have to change later.
Yes.
How do you feel about that, Rose?
I'm fine with whatever you want to do.
Okay, that was then the last point was this name change, and with that one actually there are no official, there are no points from my side or from other sides. Sorry, I'm just ranting. Any more points which somebody wants to bring up which have not been addressed or forgotten?
Yeah, just tell me where you want me exactly to put it. What part of the form where do you want me to
Get involved.
Okay.
That sounds like a good place for it.
Yeah. I think the amount of member involvement should also be included on how long we keep that thread up too. I don't think we should paint ourselves into a corner and like, oh, it's been a week, you know, even though we didn't have much member involvement, you know, it's too late. You know, I think we should be a little bit more open to allow this to evolve so that we're happy with it.
Well, we have a deadline, you know, so that is why I try to rush it, you know. Otherwise, it can be open-end, maybe 2 months, 3 months, no problem.
Well, we do have a deadline of, I guess, what is it? Well, we don't even have a deadline of 5 weeks. The 5 weeks is just for Stephen pulling his stuff off, right? So, you're right. We don't really have a deadline.
We have a deadline.
Yeah, that included changing the name, Burke.
Okay. So then we really have a real hard deadline of 5 weeks according to, you know, bowing to Stephen's wishes and the 6 weeks he gave us. So I'm cool with that. It shouldn't take that long. I mean,
yeah, we have to have some. Yeah, we have to have some built-in security, you know, so that everything can be smoothened out, and if there's a hiccup or something is delayed, you know, we have had these things before. So I think we are good with the 2 weeks, you know, actually.
I think the more involved we each get involved into that one thread, I think it will prompt the regular members to also get involved. So we could lead the charge and all be involved in that thread.
Okay, so this was the agenda from 5th of July, and with that, officially I'm closing the meeting. Bye-bye.